ITRE. Seeing into the future. Bearing in mind the opportunities emerging from marine technologies, such as offshore renewable energy and aquaculture, what should be the EU strategy for its marine waters? Our planet's surface is covered by 70% water and only 30% land. The oceans and the seas are a very big part of our planet and have always been a very important part of human society. Due to the abundant resources that can be obtained from them and to the commerce that can be done through it. They also represent one of the main captors of CO2, having an important environmental impact. World population has been increasing drastically over the past centuries and is expected to grow up to 9.3 billion by 2050. The amount of land used for agriculture would have to rise by more than 50% to meet the food needs of this amount of population. Such land may not exist. What is more, humankind is overexploring natural resources, both in terms of energy, with the overuse of fossil fuels, as in terms of materials. With the continuous growth in population, this overuse is expected to grow as well, as there will be a bigger need for resources. With that in mind, research has been and is still being carried out to find out different opportunities in marine territory and to discover the best ways to use them to our advantage. This research focuses on blue growth, a term which includes many different areas, such as marine renewable energies, seabed mining, biotechnology, and aquaculture. In the field of renewable energy, many different types of energies involving marine waters are in development or already in use. Thermal gradient energy, for example, uses the difference in temperature related to the different depths of the ocean to generate energy. Another example is the salinity gradient energy, which makes use of the different concentration and salinity between oceans and rivers. These examples are still in early stage of development due to the high cost of installation. Other examples include tidal energy, wave energy, and offshore wind energy, which are at a later stage of development. One possible way to address the lack of material resources found on land would be seabed mining, which, as the name indicates, is related to mining in the sea. This would include the potential for extracting dissolved minerals, but has as a main goal harvesting the ocean crust to find more materials, with the advantage that the ocean crust keeps forming in rift areas. Research is still being carried out in order to make this concept a reality. Marine waters can also be used for the living beings existing there. Biodiversity is responsible for many developments in technology, making use of mechanisms seen in plants and animals. However, under 2 km of depth, only 2% of marine species are known to man. What is more, marine algae can be used for greenhouse gas sequestration. To address future food necessities, aquaculture might be a possible solution. Aquaculture is the cultivation of aquatic organisms for consumption and is responsible for 47% of the global seafood people consume. In 2011, Europe only produced 4.4% of the amount of aquaculture fish and shellfish of the world, with Asia producing 88.9%. One of the main advantages of aquaculture is the efficiency in converting feed into protein, which is expected to be one of the main challenges for food production in the future. Farmed salmon, for example, requires approximately 1.2 kilograms of feed to produce 1 kilogram of protein, while an estimated 8 kilograms of feed are required to produce 1 kilogram of beef. It is also relevant to point out that blue growth can be responsible for an improvement in the economy and an increase in employment. All of these technologies are not without problems, however. For example, many of these may have a negative impact in marine ecosystems. Another disadvantage would be the high cost of installation related to most. Besides, it is necessary to invest in equipment for the testing and demonstrations of these technologies. With all of that being said, many actors are working to implement the possibilities emerging related to blue growth, and are trying to reduce the risks related to it. In the European Union, the European Commission is the institution responsible for legislation. With that being said, it can set goals for member states to follow regarding a strategy for its marine waters. Besides that, it can allocate funds for the research for the different marine technologies. Member states, and in particular member states with marine coasts, play a big part in this issue as well, being able to invest in the different technologies and implementing them in their territory. Besides them, private companies that are responsible for researching how to improve and commercialize these technologies are very important actors, as well as companies responsible for farming fish and aquaculture. Finally, the European Environment Agency is responsible for providing information for the implementation of environmental policies. Some legislation has already been implemented promoting blue growth. For example, the European Commission has funded different projects related to the different areas of blue growth. Besides that, it launched, in 2013, the Common Fisheries Policy Reform, which intends to boost the aquaculture sector. Communication from the Commission, released in 2012, mentioned many possible advantages of blue growth and focused largely on 5 different areas: blue energy, aquaculture, tourism, marine mineral resources, and blue biotechnology. This communication also included ongoing EU initiatives, as for example actions in education and training for specialized workers. However, as blue growth evolves quickly with technology, it is necessary to discuss and debate a strategy for the European Union in this matter, as well as ways for member states to implement it. With that being said, the discussion of which areas to prioritize is extremely important. It is necessary to take into account both the potential for economic growth and developments in technology and possible needs for the future. Another possible conflict is whether the strategy should, at this point, focus on implementing technologies or continue investigations to improve them and reduce possible costs associated with implementation and ecosystem impacts. To summarize, blue growth is a technological area which is becoming bigger and bigger, and one that could potentially help in resolving many global problems, as well as improve the economy. The EU has recognized this potential and now needs to discuss what is the best way to promote blue growth within its territory and marine waters.